Deep learning has significantly reshaped the industry compared to traditional optimization methods. And from the agency side, it's allowed us to adopt smarter and faster strategies. I think where we're really seeing a shift is from rule-based to self-learning. So it's no longer relying on the statistical models of the past, but rather leaning into deep learning for optimizations based off of data patterns that are continuously adapting as they ingest more signals. And because of that, we're really able to gather more sophisticated learnings, and it allows us to kind of reframe the questions we're asking. It's no longer, is strategy A outperforming strategy B, but rather it's letting us get our arms around the true nuance of why and how strategies are performing. So that same setup can be lifted and applied elsewhere across campaigns. I think another place, we're seeing deep learning help simplify is hyper-personalization, and doing that in a really scalable way. So it is these deep learning algos that are powering the personalization engines behind DCO. And the deep learning it's allowing the DNA of what we do to be embedded in precision delivery in a way that has never and will never be available with a more traditional approach.
Many advertisers are moving beyond clicks and conversions, finally, as key metrics. So, Salom, for you, what are the most effective new success metrics, especially in an AI-driven performance marketing world that we're in?
AI has completely reshaped measurement, and I think what we're seeing more of is predictive. So it's predictive ROAS, things like predictive lifetime value, and that's really helping brands drive future growth. And taking that a step further, kind of embedding some of that predictive indicators into the bid stream and into bid strategies is allowing brands to optimize towards revenue. And I think there's still a place for things like monitoring clicks, engagement, things of that sort, but it's really helping us level up and make sure that we are keeping the bottom line in sight at all times of day.
In an industry that values both innovation and proven results, how can performance marketers balance new AI-driven strategies without sacrificing efficiency? It's always this kind of experimentation versus practicality. How do you approach that?
Yes. AI has completely reshaped our jobs in the industry beyond, I think, what anyone would have imagined 10, even 5 years ago. But what I think it's important to remember is that AI is really a gradual augmentation of process and not a replacement. So what's helped me is really leaning on AI as a co-pilot and pulling that lever for things like predictive optimizations, content recommendations, DCO. There's this undisputed truth that with the introduction of AI, it's helped open up so much time for more creative, outside the box thinking versus getting so bogged down by the things that AI can help solve for. And as a leader, it's helped me and my peers really dedicate more resources and focus to piloting the continued success of client business, and doing so confidently, knowing that AI is in the passenger seat. I think from a more executional standpoint, measurement and analytics, we're also seeing it take on this more predictive nature and allowing for the slow adoption of those new KPIs and comparing it to more static and traditional benchmarks is really, giving people that peace of mind to ingest those metrics into existing reporting frameworks without having any sort of breakage, which no one wants.
So one other question I had was, what are the biggest emerging trends in performance marketing right now? There's obviously so many, but what's most important to you in terms of the emerging trends we're seeing?
Yeah, I think, as an industry, we've done so much to push the importance of first-party data. But where I think we're going to start to see that conversation shift a little bit is a push for AI-driven first-party data. So really doubling down on CRM, app data, consented user interactions, and then leaning on AI to kind of uncover the segments that are going to drive growth. The brands that really lean into that and lean into the power of AI for aggregation are going to be the ones that have success in an AI-driven world. The other big thing that really is on my mind is hyper-personalization and doing that in a scalable way with things like DCO. So really, thinking about creative no longer as this one-size-fits-all approach, but really a creative that's super individualized. And we know that, in today's day and age, people will kind of remove themselves from the advertising ecosystem and take a more privacy-forward approach. But on the flip side of that, people are willing to embrace ads that are personalized to them in an accurate manner. So really marrying those two things, AI-driven first-party data and, DCO and having it, deliver a super personalized message is going to allow us to kind of shift how we think and no longer be so focused on driving today's conversion, but more so focusing on tomorrow's revenue driving action when we integrate with more of these predictive indicators.
Lastly, how will AI shape the industry's evolution in the next few years? I know you touched on it in a number of substantive ways, but just what are you thinking in terms of your crystal ball, in terms of the way AI will shape the next few years for the industry?
Yeah, I think we've already seen automation become table stakes, so more of those executional tasks will continue to shift to AI, things like targeting, bidding, measurement, tagging, trafficking, but the human touch will need to stay on plan design. So goal setting, defining growth audiences, and evaluating success. And I think on the heels of AI-driven DCO at scale being a trend to watch, advertisers and brands can really start to lean into that power and start testing pressure testing, really, a DCO strategy. And it's an easy win for the future. So starting to build out content libraries with things like video snippets, headlines, product benefits that are all ready for DCO and AI remixing. I think what's important to remember as we look towards the future is that AI doesn't mean no human touch. It's about giving humans more time and resources to better the experience for the consumer.